GM to YouTube. How we doing? I wanted to do an updated Tormented Demon guide because there's been a few changes since the last one and some more thoughts on it. Just want to talk about like what to use there, like gear-wise. So this is what I'm wearing I'm on my hardcore right now. This is what we're wearing. Eclipse armor doubles as ranged and melee armor, which is really nice. So you get to bring less switches. Basically, big thing with Tormented Demons is that you're going to be using Arclight or Emberlight. And fun fact, this weapon has only 13 strength bonus. You see how little that is compared to my maul in my inventory? Emberlight desperately soaks up strength bonus. So you want to maximize strength bonus as much as possible to boost it. But anytime you're going here, you want to get as much strength bonus as possible because it seriously gives you max hits. The other thing is you need two styles. These are very similar to Demonic Gorillas, except not boring. So you also need a different weapon. So these are the two Synapse weapons that they drop. I have a Scorching Bow, which is the anti-demon bow, and I have the anti-demon sword Emberlight. Okay, so these are both BIS. So if you have these are your best options. If you don't have these, let's say you're going on an iron, like going there for the first time, which I recommend like rushing these really fast on an iron. So what do you want to bring otherwise? Atlattl's very good. Grab an Atlattl before coming here because it's very solid. This is actually better than Blowpipe because you're not going to have good darts for Blowpipe or good ranged armor by the time you go here. So Atlattle's really solid. If you're on a main with like Masori and stuff, Blowpipe is decent. But Scobo is always going to be BIS. Scobo is always going to be BIS. Really quick, if you're like on an iron, like synapses are 1 in 500 from Tormented Demons. You need a synapse to make Scobo, Emberlight, or Purging Staff. Which one do you make? This is the difference from Scobo to Atlattl, right? So this is our difference in damage. 36% better for a chunk of the fight. And then it's 15% better for another chunk. So basically you always want to make the Scobo first. Because if I go ahead and plug in Emberlight versus Arclight, so you can see it's 17% for a chunk of the fight into only 4% better. So the difference here is just a lot smaller. Obviously Emberlight is great, but it's not the priority. The priority is upgrading your range stuff, if that makes sense. It's like a way bigger gap here. Like you're already fairly good with an Arclight. Okay, why am I bringing this other weird stuff in the inventory? What is the crossbow about? What is the maul about? Okay, these have a unique punish mechanic, which we're going to get into. Effectively, what you want is a really slow, heavy ranged weapon. Best option is Ballista. A heavy Ballista is the best option. I don't have that. Okay, so I'm bringing a rune crossbow, and you actually want to even put it on accurate. The slower it is, the more damage it does. They have a special mechanic. We'll get into it. Basically, you want a heavy ranged weapon and a heavy crush weapon. Best possible option for melee is a Darok's Axe on crush. If you don't have that, Abi Maul's nice second best. On an Iron Man, this is fairly easy to get. You just go buy a bunch of Tockle and go buy it. But you're looking for the slowest possible heavy weapons that you have. No Soul Reaper, so I always see people say, bring a Soul Reaper, bring a Sarah God Sword. The list goes on. Weird stuff. This is 7 tick. Those options are 5 and 6 tick, right? So you want it to be slower. It has to be slower. You get extra damage off how slow it is. So you want it to be extra slow. You also can't use things like a Chally, a Dark Bow. I've heard people mention those things. Those don't work. A Dark Bow is a standard bow. It's not a heavy type weapon, so it won't work. And a Chally is slash or stab, not crush, so it won't work. Has to be a crush weapon or a heavy range weapon. Okay? We'll get into how that all works later. I'll bring one of each type of potion. Super combats are better if you have them, obviously. I've been bringing 3 prayer potion, food, and then I have some other stuff as well. I have the runes for Thrall, Death Charge, and Mark of Darkness. So this is a little more complicated as well. When you're doing trips, you probably want to skip the extra runes and just bring Thralls, and that's it. That works fine. I abuse something that's kind of similar to doing 5-to-1 Hunyef with a one-way staff. By changing their style to Mage, it lets me use Emberlight more. Remember, we looked at the damage. Emberlight does almost 11 DPS at best. The Scobo was much less. I think it was 7 or something, 7 or 8 DPS. So your Emberlight is your best possible option, or Arclight is going to be your best possible option for DPS. So I do something to force them to stay a different style so I can keep meleeing. And we'll get into that as well. There's a whole bunch of different techniques that go into these. They're very interesting. So Book of the Dead. My spec weapon is a DDS. DDS is actually an extremely good spec here because there's a mechanic that gives you 100% accuracy. So when you're guaranteed to hit, this is a very inaccurate spec that hits very hard. That means it's quite good. Burning Claws are the best spec if you have them. I'm currently working on getting them, so I don't have them yet. Burning Claws are a bit better. Abyssal Dagger is slightly better than a DDS here, actually. So Abyssal Dagger is quite good as well. How do you get there? If it's your first trip on an Iron Man, you won't have these scrolls. You can buy these on the GE normally. So if it's your first trip, you won't have them. On an Iron Man, if you get like even 5 kill trips, you can sustain the teleport scrolls forever. but obviously you're not going to have them at the start. So all you're going to do is Games Necklace teleport to Tears of Guthix and the blue orbs of light. You're going to use a Sapphire Lantern on the orbs and then use Go Down into the pit. It's an extremely long cutscene and it takes forever, and it's going to take you to here. So you go down into the pit and it's going to drop you like all the way back here. So you can see how much better these scrolls are. It saves like 30 to 45 seconds off the trips, like running back. So you definitely want to be maintaining scrolls if possible, or buy them. Even though they're really expensive, it's way better. So then you just climb up here. So TDs actually have a lot of spots to kill them. The fastest spot is right here. You're looking for a spot with 2 demons, ideally. This spot in the middle is the closest. The problem I found is a lot of dumb people don't know that there's other spots than right here. There's all these different caves that have different amounts of tormented demons. They only know this spot, so people will just come up and crash you because they don't know better. Even if it's open and it's like, ooh, an open spot, I found it's not worth it. You're going to be fighting noobs. I would just skip that. I would skip that cave. I always go here because this has 2 demon caves. We call those Iron Men. Unlucky. Unlucky. You can see there's 2 demons here. There's also 2 demons up here. So if you see someone fighting these, you can always run up here. Surely one of these is going to be open. It's not that packed. It's not that packed. So I'm going to be one-ticking the kills. You don't have to do this. I'm trying to save prayer potions on my iron, so you don't have to do any of this. You're just going to be swapping prayers. When we start a kill, there's a couple things to keep in mind. First of all, they're going to attack you with a random style. They can either mage, range, or melee you. If they're meleeing you and you safe spot them, they're going to start using random other styles. So they'll start randomly using mage or range. So you can't safe spot them. So you are going to be guessing what style they're about to use. And there's a way to minimize the amount of damage taken. So I'm going to pot up. And I'm going to do a punish mechanic. We'll get into how that works after this. Okay. First thing I notice is he's walking to me. That tells me he's meleeing me. So if you've done demonics, it's the same thing. If they walk towards you, you know for sure they're going to melee you. So you can kind of predict what kind of attack they're going to use. And they're going to use that same attack 10 times. They're going to attack you 10 times in a row. So they're that same style for a long time before they change anything. So after 10 attacks, they're going to do a little special attack. And we're going to see that in a second. Just going to wait for that. We'll dump some specs. Well, I'm just deleting right now. I'll summon a throw. They're going to do this. So they shoot 2 fireballs at you, and they're going to turn your run off. If you spam click out of it with control, if you hold the control key, you actually won't get hit by it. Okay? And then they're going to swap style right after that. They'll swap to a different random style. And again, when they do the fireballs, if they start walking towards you, they're meleeing you, right? So you can usually guess, you're usually going to take like 1 hit of damage per attack, per demon kill, if you're like properly like judging what attack style they're using, right? These guys have a bunch of other mechanics going on besides that let you boost damage. The main thing is the punish. So the punish is that slow attack thing I was talking about. Basically, the way this works is when you're allowed to get a punish, the slower your weapon is, the more damage it does, and it's still the same speed. I think it's still 4-tick no matter what. Even though you're using like a slow-ass 6-tick or 7-tick weapon, it's going to reduce it to 4-tick, do a bunch of bonus damage, and then you're going to hit them, and then you're going to start hitting them with their normal style, right? You can do a punish right after the first attack. So I'm going to do this. Attack once. Hey, it's meleeing me. And then I'm going to do my punish. So you see how that just hit 52? That's well over my max hit, okay? You get 20 bonus damage if it's a 6-tick weapon, hence it being on accurate. You want it on accurate for more damage. You get 33 damage if it's 7-tick, like the Maul or Ballista, right? So both of those are going to do even more damage. That's just added to what they actually hit. So it's what they hit plus that amount of bonus damage. It's a ton of extra damage. I believe for me, my Maul max is like 84 or something. It's crazy how much damage you get. So I'll show the punish again when they do the fireballs a second.
A leech has spawned.
Okay, here's the fireballs. It could be major ranged. I see it's maging. I'm going to hit it with a Maul. 77! So there you go. Like, it does a ton of damage. You want to be abusing that. It does so much freaking damage. It's crazy. It's crazy. That's not the only thing going on that lets you speed up kills either. I'll show it on the next kill. So that's how the punish works. The punish is right after your first attack every time, and every time they do fireballs, you can do another punish, right? So you're usually getting 2 punishes per kill, unless you just, like, absolutely nuke or something. Oh, yeah, Dragon Two-Hander is good as well. Yeah. I can't remember if it's better than Obby Maul. It's just based on strength bonus. But Dragon 2H is also 7-tick on Crush, so it's not bad either. There's one more big mechanic going on. And this is their shield dropping. So when I made the guide before, this did not have an animation or any way of telling that you are 100% accurate. But now they made it so the flames on their back actually go out, and that's going to tell you that you can't miss anymore. So let's show that. I'll do my punish, and it's roughly after... Oh, I missed my punish because I didn't have room. Unlucky. If you do an attack on accident, you lose it. You don't get to punish anymore. So after roughly 4 attacks, so it should be a little bit after this one, the fires will go out like that. So now I can't miss anymore. So that means DDS is really strong. So if you wait to spec until the fires go out on their back, you see I just hit like 350s. I can also land mage hits even in no mage gear. Like you can just land them. Like you just stop missing. You cannot miss anymore once the fire is gone. And now that I've punished again, the fires are back. You see that? So now it's the same cycle again. 4 more attacks, and then the fire goes out again. So basically, all the fire does for you is lets you know that it's a good time to spec, right? That's what it's going to do for you. So that's the idea with that. You get a ton of extra bonus damage because you're hitting all the time. These have a huge XP multiplier. So you actually get really, really good XP rates here in both combat and Slayer. You can see it's 1k Slayer XP drop per kill. So they're crazy, crazy XP. Extremely good for that. What was the Purging Staff about? Why did I cast Mage there? Let me see if I can show it again here. I'll do another kill. He's walking up to me. He's meleeing. I'm going to repot as well. Okay, so I see his shield is down. So I want to keep him not melee prey, right? So they're actually going to change prayers every 25% damage you do. So you see he's on 52. He's about to change. Now, if I cast at him, so you just changed Mage, you can actually take advantage of the fact you can't miss and cast in full melee gear, range gear, whatever it is, and keep them not praying melee. So that means you just get to keep meleeing. So there I was using Purging Staff with Mark of Darkness. It maxes really high. You can see how high I hit. That's with no mage bonus at all. Even if you don't have the Purging Staff, like you can use any other staff and just cast once and it's going to hit. So that works really, really well. It's important, especially if you don't have a Scobo yet, because Arclight just blows that Lattle out of the water, right? It's just so much better. So you want to be using it constantly, if possible. So that's the idea with that. So that's what we're doing. There's a lot of stuff going on. You can see these have a lot more layers of mechanics going on than Demonics. Demonics are just like hit them twice, change style, hit them twice, change style. It's really, really boring. But these are really, really interesting in all the different ways you can take advantage of their mechanics and get more damage in. So they're way, way better. They're also just way better XP. Like, way, 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 way better. Can Thrall accidentally hit when you should hit punish? It used to eat your punish, but no, not anymore. That's another thing with the guide as well. The old guide, I said burn ate your punish, and burning claws are bad. Not the case anymore. That's been patched. Nothing eats your punish except you doing an attack, right? So that's not a thing anymore either. That used to be the case, and it was bugged. Luckily, they changed that. Another thing, besides all the XP, these are at most 80 kills per hour if you're an absolute max, like Torba everything, like Giga Max, Ultor, like everything. You can expect anywhere from 50 to 60 if you're less experienced and using worse gear, right? I get about 60 on this account with this gear, so it's not bad. 60 kills per hour, you just put 1,000 on there. That's how much XP you're getting for Slayer, right? So I'm getting 60k Slayer from this. Pretty solid. Not only is it really good XP, it's really good money. So let's say you're getting that 80. It says 10 mil an hour. This is actually wrong. So the Synapse price is not updated. Synapse is much higher than it was. It's starting to catch up. I think they're like 56 mil. Let me see it again. Yeah, 10 mil an hour for a Slayer mob that gives you a max of 80k Slayer XP an hour. It's not bad. So even if you're getting, let's say, 60, 7.5, it's not bad. That's just the profit as well. It's taking off cost for supplies and stuff. Yeah, these are really, really crazy money. I think, honestly, if you are trying to grind a main up to other content, this is one of the best places to go. A leech
has spawned.
Because the requirements to go here, it's Well-Guthic Sleeps. It's kind of a hard quest, but the gear requirements are so low. Like, if you have an under 200 mil bank, it's really hard to beat these for GP an hour. Like, these are actually insane, and they're not that hard to kill. Like, they're fairly simple. Obviously, there's a lot of mechanics going on, but it's very doable. So I think early grinding these on a main is great. Also, in an iron, this Scorching Bow, once you get it, allows you to go kill Zami immediately. So I've been rushing these on every new hardcore I make. getting a Scorching Bow online and just immediately just go kill Zammy, get in Hosta. Hosta opens up so much content for you. You can go do Toa. You can go do Chambers. It's just a great melee weapon. It just lets you go do things. So Scorching Bow is amazing. Like, it opens options for you. Not to mention, like, Emberlight is just really strong. Like, it's really good to get this stuff early. Also, the Burning Claws they drop are just amazing early as well. Burning Claws are similar to regular claws, depending on the situation. And they're a lot better if you have bad gear. So coming here early on an iron as well, like, you're going to have crappy gear, you get claws online, you have your best spec weapon for, like, a long, long time. Tell people not to use Scorching Bow as a Bofo replacement, please. I'm just going to be killing these as I talk. We'll just keep going. People are always asking, can you use Scorching Bow instead of Bofo? The answer is no. It is useless. It is utterly useless outside of demons. You cannot use it for that. It is so much worse. There's these people spreading this rumor that it's pretty good damage. And it's pretty good damage if your ranged weapon is like a Dord crossbow, and that's it. So if that's you, then go for it. You're probably gonna have better options than that, though. Probably. Don't use it at non-demons. The only place I use it that's not a demon is Bat Slayer Task for Turiel. That's the only place for the range. That's the only thing it's for. It is not good outside of demons. But Scorching Bow is insane for, like, Zammy. It's also quite good on Sire events. It's very good a lot of places. Also just good for General Slayer. You can train ranged if you happen to get, like, a Blood Veld task or something. Definitely solid for training range to AFK. It's not bad at all. The common drops from these are not that crazy, but most of your money is going to come from the Tormented Synapse drop. Most of that. And the Claw drops are okay as well. They're just a lot less than the Synapses, because that's what people are after. That's the majority of the profit. I've trained the majority of my combats through just Turiel canceling to get these tasks. The other really nice thing about Tormented Demons is when you get a Slayer task, if it's extended, you get 200 to 250 Greater Demons. These take about a minute to kill. It's like a 4-hour task. So if you happen to get the task you need, you're just set, like, for hours on end. And obviously, like, doing a 4-hour Slayer task sounds not good, but considering how good the XP is, how good the money is, you really want it to last a really long time. That's why I always say don't do these off task, because you could just go Turiel cancel, get another task, and just run them. Like, not getting Slayer Helm bonus and not getting that 1k Slayer XP drop per kill, I just think is trolling. I think it's just not worth it. Like, you really, really want a task for these. Like, doing them off task is just not it. We cover everything? I think so. Killing multiple. There's a mechanic for killing multiple at once. It's, like, technically faster because the punish is slightly faster, so you can punish them really quickly. But I found in practice it just doesn't increase your kills per hour to kill multiple. It reduces your trip length and you only get barely a couple more kills per hour, so not really worth it to kill multiple at once. I think that's it. I think we covered everything. I'm trying to think anything else I could have missed. I forgot to mention maging these. Why didn't you talk about purging staff here? Obviously you're bringing it one way, Gnomonkey. Why don't you bring full mage gear? Okay, obviously I'm on a hardcore and I have no mage damage whatsoever. But even if I had, like, a lot of mage damage, this technically is better than Scorching Bow. I believe it's 5% more DPS. The problem with maging these is that there is no 7-tick mage weapon. They're all fairly fast, besides Twin Flame. Maging these is not really worth it, like, DPS-wise compared to Scorching Bow. Not to mention how much it costs an hour to cast those spells. You use so many... Look at the rune cost. Spawned. On, oh, where is it? 2 soul runes, 12 fire runes. It's a lot of runes. That's not to mention you need to upkeep Mark of Darkness, which is soul rune and cosmic. It's a lot of runes. It's really expensive. So just spamming that is really difficult to justify when it's not even better DPS. So I wouldn't use mage here. Problem with Emberlight as well, not only is it like a smaller jump, we talked about this at the beginning, it's a smaller jump from Arclight to Emberlight than it is from Blowpipe, Atlatl to Scorching Bow. But also, it takes 30 shards to make Emberlight, so you have to go grind shards in the catacombs to make it. I want to mention as well, the infusion mechanic on Arclight. As you hit monsters, that 30 shards is getting banked as you use the hits. So basically, it's just 30 shards total you have to use on it. It doesn't matter if you've wasted charges or anything like that. So you just need to put 30 shards in it, and then you can go make Emberlight. That's it. So there's no reason to, like, avoid using it because of charges. You might as well go get more charges. Really good way to get charges that I found is just killing Dust Devils. Dust Devils drop a ton of money, so you just get your money back that you spent bursting them, because they drop so many runes and so many, like, alchables. So they're really, really good for shards. Just kill them with that. And then just in between skipping for these, like, try to do as many burst tasks as you can to get more shards if you don't have 30 yet. The faster you get 30 shards, the more damage you're going to be doing. So it's really, really nice. Oh, ranged weapons here as well. Everybody's like, is Bofa good here? No! No. We just talked about how they have the mechanic where you're guaranteed to hit them. A weapon that's pretty accurate and goes through defense, not too good here when it's really slow, right? You want to use really fast, hard-hitting weapons. Blowpipe, Atlatl. Is T-Bow good here? It is. It's slightly worse than Scobo. Slightly worse than Scobo. So good options, Atlatl, Blowpipe, T-Bow, Scobo. Scobo the best option, of course. I think I covered everything. Tormented Demons have a lot to talk about. I think I got it. All right, that's it. Pull up to the demons. Get your 10 mil an hour. Get your 80k Slayer XP an hour. It's free. I'll see you there. Bye. Thank you so much. Like, subscribe. Mwah! Bye, YouTube. Bye. That's so free. Okay. Okay.